around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised.
Billions of people just living out their lives, oblivious. Choice is an illusion created between those with power and those without.
I drink your milkshake. I drink it up.
Thank you, John Larson. I receive your kind words on behalf of all of our courageous members of the House of Representatives who want the best for the American people. And what we can do that is best for them in the next 24 hours is to pass affordable, accessible health care for all Americans. The best for all Americans is to have 32 million more people to have health insurance in our country. The best for...
Piece of stinking filth.
Shh, say it again, Shal. This is AJ of the InfoWars. Listen to the Shaliak. This is Alex Jones of InfoWars. Listen to Shaliak on the Cold Reality News and Report.
This is the coolest thing I have ever seen.
Well, hello there. Good morning, UCY.TV listeners. This is Cold Reality Radio, and guess what? I'm not Shali. But you might know who I am if you've been listening to UCY for a while. Why is that? Because I used to have a show on here called The Ochelli Effect. I felt like coming on and saying, here's a trivia question for you guys who listen to the shows on this network. Who actually started out his first live broadcast on UCY.TV back in 2014, February 15th to be exact. Oh, wait, February 14th to be exact, Valentine's Day of 2014 on Against the Wall. That was his broadcast debut anywhere, actually, as a radio host. That would be me. Anyway, so yeah, I'm the host of the Ochelli Effect. My name is Chuck Ochelli, but this is Cold Reality Radio. So we're going to go into a couple of different areas this morning. I asked various guests to come on with me, about 3-4 people, and it's too early for them. It's actually way too early for me as well. Normally I do my thing at night, and there's a good reason for that, because I am broadcasting from somewhere within the confines of Frankie's Playroom. Why do I say that? Well, because the whole dwelling is really his playroom. He's kind of kept out of the room at the moment so that I can have a coherent discussion with the wall and whoever might be tuning in this morning. So Shali asked me to step in and substitute for him. So no guitar, because I don't have one anymore. I don't have the bass anymore. I have nothing. I'm actually sitting on the floor in front of my computer doing this thing this morning. So hopefully, although I won't be quite as entertaining, I'll give you something to think about before I'm all done. And hey, as per usual, I don't even know if I have phones. I don't think I do. But I do have my Skype. So those of you who have been on my Skype list in the past, if you want to join in and have a conversation, which I'm going to get into in a little bit about how that's such a dangerous request to say that, hey, I'd like to have a conversation with just about anybody anymore. I'm going to get into that during this discussion today, one way or another. But you know what? The people who do listen to this network, the people who have been on here with me before, anybody hearing this, which I did not promote in any way, shape, or form, I am just here to have a conversation with you guys who are regular listeners to the network and there really isn't much more to it. What has happened to me since I departed doing the live show on this network? Well, it's been an interesting journey, and of course, the show is now replayed here on UCY.tv, or at least two of them are. I do it 5 nights a week, but Jules selectively puts up 2 shows a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I think they're from 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern, and I have no idea what she plays. I have no control over that. Whatever she selects, it's for the better presentation for you guys out there. So that's all fine and dandy. But what happened after I stopped originating from UCY.tv? I went over to American Freedom Radio, which if you've heard the rebroadcast, you know, because that stuff is packaged in with it. But the Ochelli Effect is not wholly owned by any network. In fact, it's played on a bunch of others, and I appreciate all of you guys who do wind up catching it one way or another. Even if there's only 2 of you on each network, it's a load of fun to distribute the show, which I do now through my own website after the live show is completed, and there are some who do live stream it, as well as a couple of other micro broadcasters I hear about up in the Northeast who seem to be carrying a sort of pirate version of the show on occasion and blasting it out in the Northeast. I don't know any of their channels or anything like that. I just keep hearing rumors of it, and apparently different pieces of the show get heard bleeding into other local FMs in certain areas, etc., on occasion. But, you know, these are guys who have, I don't know what they have in their basements anymore. You used to be able to go to Radio Shack and pick up stuff and really create an FM transmitter that you could at least cover a few blocks in any given location. But that is no longer the case. To the best of my knowledge, who knows? There's probably an underground of people that still do this stuff. I don't know. I certainly don't listen to FM radio anymore. I don't hardly listen to anybody's show anymore. However, I do on occasion tune into Shali. I haven't tuned in lately, although I do understand he's had a bunch of different guest hosts, and I'm sure that they were fascinating. He was on my show on Friday night, where I had a roundtable discussion. And what was that related to? Well, it's related to the emergence of dysfunction in the conversation, right? A lack of coherence, a lack of cohesion in logic, a lack of reasonable discourse between anyone and everyone, and my complete dismay, displeasure, because, you know, everywhere I go, I do seem to have bones to pick with people that are trying to do these presentations. And, you know, there's just a lack of sense that is observable when one steps aside and takes a look at what's happening in the allegedly alternative media. Oh, yes. Thanks a lot. I apparently do have one listener through the Skype, and I do see you guys in the chat room, which I did say good morning to you this morning. But anyway, if you are catching this on TuneIn or something else, there is a live chat room at UCY.tv. And if you just go to UCY.tv, you'll find that there is a lobby chat, the UCY lobby chat, which has, you know, a handful of people in it. And you will find some interesting discussions there. So, hey, if anybody is daring and does that whole chatango thing, feel free to drop in on them over there. They're not really active at the moment, but I do see that there are a few in the room. So anyway, as I was explaining, there is a lack of not only comprehension, but a lack of skills regarding communicating one's own ideas with efficacy. And this is what I've noticed in recent times. Now, probably it's something that's prevailed for a long time. And just, you know, as per usual, I am one of the last to catch up to it. I would say that confirmation bias is an interesting way to codify what's happening. You know, people generally relate to things which they're already predisposed to. In other words, if your belief system is bolstered, is supported by that which you're listening to, that which you're watching, and that means for entertainment purposes, for information purposes, if it's being supported, if it's being, I don't know, verified, justified, etc., if all of that is going on, okay, this seems to be attractive to the general listener, viewer, etc. Yes, good morning, Maddie Clues in the chat room, just so you guys know this is live. What is happening, Chuck? Great to be hearing you here again. Yeah, this is just a little personal conversation between me and you guys. So who knows? I mean, yeah, it's available on the World Wide Web. Of course, UCY is on TuneIn and Shoutcast and God knows what else. You could probably get it on. It's great to get into all of it. Yeah, let's see. There's a bunch of people in there. And, it's great to be able to sit and have this kind of conversation. Of course, I see Walter in the chat room. Man, if you, my friend, wanted to join me during this discussion today, if you somehow had an inkling of a way to help me rationally explain this to people, I think you would understand what I'm saying regarding a lack of comprehension and cohesion in discussions. But anyway, here we go. So back to it. It's been an interesting journey, that's for sure, and I have observed these things. More recently, it seems to be, amping up, right? Accelerating, like most things seems to do over time. I mean, much like we've seen the blatant notion of tyrannical insurgents, let's call it, regarding the constructs, the alleged constructs of governance rising up as a constant, right? Since we see that accelerating, I guess there's no reason why the dumbing down and the fluoride should not be settling in on people's brains, their abilities to cognitively interact, their abilities to communicate, their abilities to verbalize, their ability to rationalize, their ability to do everything, it seems, is being challenged by the biochemical industry, by the absolutely fascinating and ludicrous theater of the absurd that we call, the news and information industry on all levels. I guess it's no surprise, but even in personal interactions, just observing individuals speaking to each other on the street, which I do get a chance to do from time to time. I have to walk places when I go places. So when I do settle in somewhere, I notice that that people having conversations with one another, even about the most mundane subjects, even about the most seemingly pointless or banal discussions, anything, doesn't matter, cup of coffee, the price of gas, what it is they're doing wrong, hey, your pants are ripped, doesn't matter. Here's what's happening in a nutshell, if you will. People have these discussions where they make a statement. Now, they make a statement based on an idea in their minds. The statement they make is not clear. The statement they make doesn't seem to address the thing that they're actually attempting to highlight, the thing that they're actually attempting to point to. And in response, a complete non sequitur is usually produced. I mean, it's almost like people are having conversations with invisible individuals, although they're facing each other. I mean, literally, I watched someone say something about, and let me see if I can pare this down so I don't point to anybody in particular, but let me see how I can make this real general. Okay, so I'm in a store, and one individual says to the other that they're thirsty, basically, and that this is a good soda to buy. Now, I know that's a regurgitative, reaction to the programming, which we call commercialization. And, this is the ad industry's coming to fruition. And this guy has probably been drilled with the, continuous, I need something, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So they tell this to someone that they don't seem to be having an interaction with previously. They tell this to someone that they seem to know vaguely, without any sort of context, without any sort of, without any sort of precursor, without any reasoning, without any call for it. How about that? So no call for it. Hey, listen, this is a good drink and I'm thirsty. I don't know, maybe they made eye contact and felt provoked, felt a need, felt inspired to simply say something. So they say that. Now, you would think that the other individual, and this is two men I watch do this, but women do it just as well. Two men I watch do this, but the one guy looks at the other and doesn't respond about the drink. Doesn't respond about this guy saying he's thirsty, doesn't respond about the odd sort of positioning between the two where they are facing one another. They are, observably behaving in a way that their body language would suggest they're communicating with each other. But this guy turns to him and proceeds to say something about women. Now, he doesn't say like, a woman can satisfy your thirst better or something clever, remotely relatable to the original statement. Nothing like that. Nope. Doesn't say, my last girlfriend was a tall drink of water. No. Nothing remotely clever, poetic, interesting, or even seemingly related. Just kind of like, I'm going to go get laid, pretty much. Other guy looks at him, holds up the soda, because, actually it was an iced tea, but holds up the plastic bottle filled with the aspartame-laden, whatever the hell it was, kind of holds it up as if to say, this is the answer, and walks away. Now, is this, just two people that happen to be, way too fond of their medical cannabis treatments? Is this somebody who is, a bit methed out and shaky and scratching? Or is this somebody who's, no. These are two seemingly stable, fairly, they are speaking. It doesn't mean they're intelligent. Plenty of people speak when they're not intelligent. But I'm just making an assumption here that there are individuals who are not necessarily intelligent that speak. That's true. But look, I'm making the assumption. I'm trying to be generous and think to myself, well, there may be some intelligence in there. Just, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, so to speak. All right, fine. Trouble is, that's the end of the conversation. No conclusion. See, look, there's no introduction. There's no conclusion. There's no context in between. And why do I bring this up? This is really boring, Chuck. Well, this is what I'm observing across the board. Everywhere. I tune into somebody to listen to an interview. Hell, I even tried tuning into some of my own shows because finally I said to myself, well, I think I'm imagining this in real time, but I never listen to my own shows. So I decided to go back over a couple of them. And I recognize that I am struggling to have a coherent conversation. Struggling to have a coherent conversation where I'm trying to stay on topic, on point, et cetera, et cetera. And my guest, my interview subject, my conversation partner, the other person, the other voice on the show is either A, not hearing me, B, simply waiting for their turn to speak and then hoping that they will, bang it out, whatever it is in their brains that they were just waiting, itching to get out, or C, seeming to have a conversation that is not observable from my end. I don't know. I just don't know. It's a crazy thing, man. It's a crazy thing, and I can't seem to wrangle people into having coherent conversations. I can't seem to control the situation. I can't seem to change the direction of this. And I thought, well, maybe it's just me. Maybe the brain damage has finally gotten me. Maybe I am going insane. Maybe other people do this a lot better. No, I decided to tune into some others having these types of conversations. And even there's, by the way, a bunch of these little Skype groups that get together and they BS, and sometimes they have really relevant conversations about things in the world, or at least this is the way they used to be. And I really don't have time for it anymore. But I decided to go into those and see if they were having coherent conversations as well. They're not. They're not. So I don't know if I'm wasting my breath here or not, but it seems quite observable that there is a lack of common sense. There is a lack of logic. There is a lack of coherent discussion. There's a lack of coherent thought anyway. I mean, look, all of us want to think that we're smarter than others. I mean, we came to the not so standard media streams because, well, we thought we were smarter than the stupidity they were putting up. You know, we thought that we had a right to get into the truth. We thought we had a right to cut through the BS, not to be commercially sold a lot of garbage, so on and so forth. We thought we could do that. We thought that we could revolutionize certain things. And I'll tell you something, JJ Inc. gave me one of the best pieces of advice when I started doing this. And he said, if you think you're going to change the world, give up now, because you're not. Sounds a little defeatist, and I'm still fighting with it, but there are certain things you must change, accept, I guess. Oh, that sounds like one of those old ridiculous phrases. Accept the things you cannot change, encourage change the things you can, and the wisdom to decide to make things change when you have to. So, I think JJ was really cool with me on that kind of thing, and believe me, I had a long discussion with him about that when I first started doing this. Yeah. And the truth is that nothing seems to fix stupid. That's for sure. I am glancing over at the chat room on occasion. Of course, most of the time I do my show with my eyes closed, but I am glancing over there. It is difficult to fix stupid. That's for sure, but not impossible. Not impossible. And it's a weird situation to be in. So with all that in mind and all of that sort of introduction to what it is I wanted to get into today, maybe I should go back to some of the other interesting things that have happened in between the time I was last on here, because this will make a little bit of sense in a minute. But when I was last on here as a live broadcaster on UCY, which was let's see now, was the summer of 2015, I guess, or 2015. Yes, summer of 2015. Okay, summer of 2015. Like I said, I built the website, which is still a work in progress, which I don't think I mentioned yet. But either way, last name is spelled Ochelli. Put that .com. That's the website. That should be the last plug on that. Thing is, though, that I built that and I started doing this thing over on another network, and then I started doing 5 nights a week, and that's always been fascinating. Of course, that means that I do actually 6 or 7 shows, and I try and do extra material for the members at the website and stuff like that. I'm a regular guest on some other places, blah, 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 blah. So I'm running my mouth all the time. Working pretty hard at it, trying to cultivate a YouTube thing, even though Google kind of sanctioned me for a while, Apparently, you're not allowed to talk about certain things. They lifted their sanction, by the way, the day after the presidential selection process was done. I think that I got notice when I started trying to explain to people that, yeah, these alternative media people that seem to be supporting the Trumpster dumpster fire that is, are really disingenuous because criminal Hillary versus criminal Trump is really no choice. Trump is implicatable, is somebody who can be tied to a guy named Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, wait a minute. You guys thought that maybe only Bill Clinton could be tied to Jeffrey Epstein. No, he can be tied to Jeffrey Epstein as well. And I started doing that. Oh, it looks like I'm getting calls on Skype here, which I didn't even hardly mention I was going to do that. Let's see if we can get coherent discussions here. Black Fox. Black Fox.
Oh,
You hearing me, man?
hey, how's it going, man?
It's going. You're on the air, by the way.
Oh, that's good to know. Right off the bat, that's good to know.
Right off the bat.
Yeah,
And
you know me. You know who I am.
I know who you are, but look, Black Fox from Anon Radio US. Let's see now. What is the new website, by the way? I can't remember the address. What's the new website over there?
Let me hit the mute button on my mic real quick, and I'll type that out.
You're gonna type it out. Okay, sure. You could just speak since you're on the radio, but that's okay.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that works too. It's sorry, I just woke up. It's Anon Radio US, no punctuation, .wordpress.com.
There you go. Okay, and interesting site, that's for sure. You have provided a forum for a lot of people to speak. Glad to hear from you this morning.
Dude, if I could give everyone in the world at least an hour on a microphone consecutively, just one after another, all 7 billion people, that would be pristine.
Yeah, but would you want to listen to it anymore?
Not really. It'd be a lot of BS, dude.
Well, see, and that's what I was starting to discuss all by myself this morning, is that conversations that people are having. Now, let's try this. Here's a controlled experiment because, Fox, you got no idea what I'm discussing on the show right now, do you?
Nope.
Okay, just know would suffice. You don't know what I'm talking about. You don't know what the idea is, so you don't know what I've been setting up the past 20 minutes or so, right? No idea. You're walking into this blind, correct?
Yeah, but I'm pretty adaptable. But
Oh,
for the
I know
time
you
being,
are. I know
no
you are.
clue, no
Relax.
clue.
Don't get defensive.
Oh no, I'm
You-
not offensive.
You have now become control. By the way, you're on Cold Reality Radio. Just so you know, you're not on my show. This
Cool.
is Shali's show. Remember, you heard Shali on Friday night. Shali is an awesome dude. You got to check him out and check out Cold Reality Radio if you haven't already. But put that aside for a second. You are my control subject.
I am
Black
a
Fox.
drone.
You ready?
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay. Now, I want everybody to take notice that just in explaining to Black Fox here that he was a control subject, that he got defensive, started to explain something that I didn't ask him about, and started to go into a couple of other things, went to go type into a chat room or type into Skype his website, even though he's on a medium where he can speak. Now, I'm not making fun of you, Fox. I'm trying to say that these are the symptoms of what I'm seeing all around me, not only in alternative media, not only in my day-to-day life. I mean, perhaps I just live in an overfluoridated area, something like that. That's fine. Okay. But everywhere, it seems, no matter where I go, people ask questions that have already been answered. People don't answer the questions they're being asked. People don't have conversations, and they seem, in some cases, to be waiting to have a discussion, to be waiting to blurt out something that they've already had in their mind. So they're just
absolutely. It's very, even like in my hold on, I have to pause the music on in the background here. It's very difficult, especially in my field, to find new people with new ideas. So I find myself talking about the same shit, dude, and it sucks. And no one wants to really do anything. They just want to talk about it. You know, it's hard to find people like myself who are going to stand there on a street corner with like 3 or 4 other people with a sign and other shit, you know.
Well, okay, and look, you do a little bit of the activism, the kind of street level activism, march against
Dude, most of what I do is activism. Yeah.
Well, I know I wasn't going to amplify it. I was going to let you explain it, but you do some of that along with putting out some media. You have roundtable discussions. You've done some music presentations where you try and bring underground music to people. You try and bring them new ideas. You are constantly in search of somebody saying something that's not already being heard elsewhere, right?
Yeah, but what do you mean? The typing into the chat room is something about the symptom of the alternative media. I mean, I'm not really. I don't know. I barely identify with the alternative media, to be honest. I mean, we're just our own thing over here.
What's the symptom of the alternative media? What are we talking about?
You were saying something about me typing into the chat room instead of just saying it. I guess I don't know how that relates.
See, we just lost it. I was trying to explain that not only in alternative media. See, this might be my fault. This might be your fault, but this is a good thing for somebody to observe if they're paying attention. I'm trying to say that you're not answering appropriately to certain things that are being presented to you. Now, you weren't prepared. You just woke up. Believe me, I'm not a morning person either. But I'm telling you, yeah, go ahead. You're on the radio, and you can tell people about your website, basically, right? So I'm not picking on you. I'm trying to point out that even someone who does think outside of the box, who is not part of the, the zombie apocalypse directly and doesn't realize that they're sleepwalking, somebody who is somewhat alert is still not alert. It seems as though.
I mean, 9 times out of 10, I would just speak the address. The main reason why I said I'd type it out is because the way the address is laid out, if I say Anon Radio US, immediately they're going to think punctuation, they're going to think dashes, slashes, because, US, United States, abbreviation and shit. So, yeah. But, I guess it is easier just to say it, but it's not really that I wasn't focusing. It's just, I figured maybe it would be easier just to type it out.
No, it's okay. But see, now you're going back through it now.
Oh yeah, totally. My bad. I mean, we're definitely backtracking.
No, but I'm just saying, look, and I don't mind backtracking. It's fine. I think we should when it needs to be done. I'm just trying to point out that when you try and have a conversation, it's difficult anymore because people are not honestly communicating with one another. And I'm not just saying that in the alt media sense. I'm saying that everywhere. I gave a little story about an interaction I saw between 2 guys in a store a little bit before you got on here. Okay. And, here we go. There is an incoherent level of communication, which I think is being amplified right now. And I'm trying to sort that out.
I mean, there's just too much information, I think. Like, people really... I don't know, people just don't know how to communicate with each other anymore because I guess maybe people aren't sure what to expect, so they generally just kind of stick to their own circle.
Well, yeah, there's that, and I get that. There's too much information, but we can see the availability of it. It doesn't mean that it's being absorbed by anyone, because I literally have to have the same conversation with, whether it's over a practical matter, a repair. I'm renting something. A repair needs to be done on the place I'm renting. I have to have the same conversation. Okay, you could say, well, look, it's just you got a crap landlord or whatever, but that's not what's happening. It's literally not being received when I'm doing my best to speak in a common language with someone.
Oh my God, right. It's like, you're noticing that too? Like, it's like they're not even responding to what you're saying. It's like they're responding to what's in their head or something. And
right.
Yeah, dude, it's like people don't even speak English anymore.
Well, allegedly they're speaking, what we might call American English, fine, but it's not being heard. And when it is being heard, it's still not being heard. And even when people are speaking, here's the funny part: I'm noticing it going both ways. people are not clearly enunciating any of their ideas. They're not clearly defining what they have to say. Okay. They're not saying okay. If somebody were to say to you, well, look, oh man, I gotta get a hypothetical together here. See, this is the thing. I'm even having trouble maintaining a coherent thought
it's
pattern.
kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like my friend Bob. It's the best comparison I can draw here is.
Well, since we all know who Bob is here, since we all know Bob, I mean, we know exactly what you're talking about. But there you go. Look.
Yeah, I don't want to rip on him, so yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
But look, I don't know who Bob is, but let's leave Bob alone. You know, let's get at it from a general objective standpoint, right? Have you noticed even people conducting interviews, right? Even people that are having discussions during commerce, let's just say. You go into a store and you watch discussions between a cashier and a customer, and they don't make sense. If you were to put them down on paper and read them, you'd go, but there's something missing. There's something missing. And it's not as though people are communicating on a different level and therefore needing to speak less. You know, the Native Americans used to be able to get away with that kind of thing. They didn't have to speak very much to one another because there was an implied communication. There was a connection there. You could go in a lot of directions with that. But modern society is communicating in an even less evolved way than text shorthand at this point in time.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, unless you're on the same page as someone else already, it really is difficult communicating with that person. Yeah, and so that's what you're talking about today. Yeah, I have that issue too. I thought it was a regional thing, but now that we're talking about it, I guess it's all over. You know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And by the way, if you wanted to get into a chat room, there is a chat room at ucy.tv. Fox, if you wanted to multitask, God help us all though, because and not for your sake, I'm not just picking on you, but you're the guy in front of me. You know, if people that try and type and speak at the same time, it's pretty crazy. Anyway.
Oh no, the more things I'm doing at once, the more I can focus on all of those things as opposed to just doing one particular thing. It's the way I'm wired, I guess.
Yeah, me too. The only problem is my visual interface sucks, which, by the way, everybody's visual interface sucks, but mine just sucks a little more. So, you know, I have a terrible time with that. I tell people all the time I got to keep my eyes closed when I do the show, usually, and it's true. And you guys might hear a little murmuring from Frankie in the background. Hey, buddy, you want to come and say hi to the UCY.TV people? Come here, bud. No? Okay. Anyway.
A chat room and Skype, that would make it a lot easier.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll do that right now. I wanted to see if Frankie would say something because, quite honestly, when Frankie was born, I had to take a week off from my UCY.TV show to deal with everything that was coming out, and it was really cool. He actually cried on the air for the first time on Boiler Room Radio, which was a friend of mine's show that used to be on here. Anyway, sorry, I digress. But anyway, I was doing that to fill time so that I could literally give you that. So there you go. There's the chat room in case you want to interact with people via text.
Hey, everyone.
Okay, so
it's the Fox.
there we go. But Fox, back to the subject at hand. You know, it's an interesting thing, right? And it seems to be across the board. Like, it's not just alt media people. It's not just people that, you know, the fringe, if you will, of society. But it seems like it's everywhere. Even watching, well, you know, those wonderful hearings on the congressional floor recently, which I torture myself with. You know, I'm watching people ask questions that have already been answered. I'm watching people make statements that have nothing to do with the topic.
Yeah, dude, I thought it was just my state. I mean, Maine is pretty well regarded as not being the most brilliant part of the country, but yeah, I mean, like, yeah, like asking the same questions over and over again, you give them an answer and then repeat. God, really? Really, man, we're both having the same issue. Right on, cool. How did this come up? How did this come up?
Yeah, right. This is what happens. And meanwhile, even if I sit here and I take 5 minutes to explain something, again, I'm using you as the example. If I take 5 minutes to explain something to you, you will still ask a question as if you don't know what I just explained to you. Okay, for instance, if it's a conversation just between you and me, and this happens everywhere, everywhere. You bring people onto shows to have discussions about topics, right? And they go off into a weird direction. Now, I think all of this stuff makes a lot of sense. All of this stuff makes a lot of sense. When you take a look at the decisions people are making, who it is they're backing, and why. Now, I've taken a bunch of crap recently, right? As usual, Fox. You might you might have been talking to your mute switch. It's okay. Go ahead.
No, I wasn't talking. I have a weird setup over here. Yeah, you're right. At the moment, typing and speaking at the same time is kind of.
See?
Sorry, lost my train of thought. You're right. But yeah, I hear you, man. It's I mean, could it be because of information media? I mean, if you look at the way we communicated, people communicated 100 years ago, not very abstract, very, very in the moment, and we had a very hard time explaining abstract ideas to someone who grew up, say, in the 1920s. Now the issue is actually you're having a hard time explaining solid and concrete ideas to people who think mostly abstract. Because of information media, because of the internet, we kind of have to think that way, though, don't we? Technology and shit.
Well, look, it could be the social media. It could be the ease of access to surrogate communication as opposed to actually having to face someone. You don't even have to deal with a voice most of the time, or if you do, it's electronic instead of that electrical signal that used to come through a phone line. It's gotten into an odd place, automated systems to solve your problems. I get that, but I don't think that's the whole of the answer. There seems to be something else going on. What do you think?
I think, oh, cool. Nice. I think, chemicals in the drinking water, bad food, lack of education. I mean, it's never going to be one particular thing that contributes to the overall zeitgeist. I mean, you know what I mean? It's a multitude of things, man.
No, it's certainly the panopticon of weapons that are trained at destroying the ability for the human being to cognitively interact with one another. I get that. But isn't it seeming to get worse? All right. Look, I'm in my 40s. I know I'm an old man to you. I'm like, your parents' age at this point, right?
Friends growing up were in their 40s. I don't get people my age.
Yeah, well, it's cool, but let's just go with your age group for a minute, right? When you were in high school, which was only a couple of years ago, did it seem like this was the case then too, or no?
No, well, it's weird. Especially, I don't know if it's, like I said, regional or not, but basically here in Maine, after high school, everyone's gone. It's pretty common, my high school class, all gone. But during the time, everything seemed right, pretty chill, right? So people seem pretty coherent. But right at that drop-off point, 18, graduate, everyone's gone, I'm here. Where'd they all go, right? The people who remain here, the people who are still here, I guess, it's really like that, like you said. But to be honest, dude, I don't really have many friends my own age, and maybe it's, I don't know, I don't get along with people my own age.
Okay, that's fine. And look, we all right, I'll tell you this. I graduated in 1991 from high school, right? And I was a weird guy anyway, because I was living in an apartment by myself. I wasn't under my parents' roof or anything like that. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. But the deal is there is that period after high school where, okay, some people go off to college or disappear elsewhere. You had your social groups begin to disintegrate, things like that. It is a change. Now you're supposed to be coming into, quote, adulthood, end quote, right? All that. And that happens generationally. That's been happening. That's in America. That's part of the American experience. But communication seemed to be different. I mean, I swear to God, I'm sounding like the old man, we had real games in our days. we had real stuff back then. The music was so much better, which it was. But what can I say? I am getting old and older. But when you look at it objectively, it seems as though in the past just 2 years, it's just disintegrating, like in quick time, like as if it was, what do they call that? Where it's like stop action, and it only takes a couple of frames every 15 minutes, time lapse photography.
Have you ever seen the movie Idiocracy?
Of course I have.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, yeah, that tells you where we get to, right? And I still say I want to vote for President Camacho in 2020, but I think we might have to wait for 2024, because it would be a hell of a lot better than the nonsense we got.
Like that's, it's kind. I don't know, man. What if all this divisiveness and chaos is just the darkness before the light? What if it's just like a part of the evolution of our freaking species?
Oh yeah, no, and absolute agreement with Chemtrailer in the chat room. Auto-tune is not an improvement in music. You're right, but. Look, I loved it when when 9 Inch Nails did some cool weird stuff in the studio, and it was music made out of things that weren't musical, and that's cool. But no, auto-tune is just, come on. Anyway, yeah,
46 and 2 lateralis, stuff like that.
There you go. Nothing wrong with 5-finger death punch though. Anyway, look, as we go forward, though, I got to say that the communication is getting strange. Now, is it that we need to descend into complete intellectual chaos before somebody is going to step forward? I mean, I'm feeling very, very alone in the wilderness, trying to have coherent conversations, trying to explain to people what it is that, even bringing a guest on a show anymore. I'm having a hard time, like, okay, they want to come on a certain subject. I go, great, bring it. They don't even bring the thing they tell me they're going to bring.
That's why I didn't set a subject. I mean, my show is a complete anarchy. I mean, no censorship, nothing. You have to be a real asshole to get booted too. But, yeah, I wish we could give an example, because I know exactly what you're talking about, and it took me a minute to catch on. And it will take a lot of people a lot longer if they're not noticing it right off. But yeah, it'd be great to have an example about communication breakdown. But yeah.
Well, I can go back, like I said, into my own shows, right? I can go back into that retreat into the old structures of safe norms, let's just say, right? Look, the Trump thing. This has been interesting for me because people that were, screaming that we practically require an anarchistic society to emerge, that we need to decouple ourselves from the system, that all of it is a lie, that all of it is ridiculous, that voting is pointless, that it is something that we're not even supposed to participate in as a people, that we need to divest from the system, so on and so forth. A ton of them are now defending Orange Julius, man.
Oh, it's ridiculous. I can't cuss on your network. It's ridiculous. I mean,
Oh, no. You are allowed to curse on UCY.tv.
oh, fucking right.
And
Look,
this is
man.
not my show. This is Shali's show. And I know that he says, and here I go. Here's a rarity coming out of my mouth on air. I know he says fuck all the time. So fly, brother.
It is absolutely fucking amazing, though, isn't it? Like, people who only 5 or 10 years ago who are like, the left and the right is a lie, it's a fake left-right paradigm, blah, 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 blah. Now they're all like, Trump, 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 sheep, bah, Trump.
Yeah, well, I wish they were sheep. I wish they were sheep because, sheep have a little bit of a sensibility about what it is they're willing to consume. Okay, goats don't. So really, they're goats. All right?
Right.
Goats will eat anything, right? Right, Fox?
Oh my God, dude, it's sad, but you know what? I think they're goats. You know what? We're gonna have to get rid of the word sheep, everyone. I announce it here on UCY Radio. We're not using the word sheep anymore. We're using the word goats.
Yes, it absolutely should be a goat because, again, goats are willing to eat anything. I mean, I would say dogs, but dogs have too much personality. And although they're willing to eat their own crap, okay, dogs will eat their own shit. At least there's some well, some of them will. At least there's some nutrition in the shit. Goats will eat anything. So goats seem to fit better to me, Anyway, I'm glad you agree. It's a weird thing, though. It's like, well, it's better than the Hitlery. It's better than Schillery. It's better than Killery. And it's like, dead issue, number one.
I don't get it. Left, right. Why isn't there a diagonal option? Why,
there you go. Do you want me to punch you in the balls or kick you in the balls, Fox? Which one do you like?
Well, I mean, to be honest, both are pretty unexpected, but I'd rather you punch me in the balls because I'd have a little bit more time to react just because of the angle. But yeah, neither.
Well, you see, now it all depends on the angle, doesn't it? Oh, man. And watching, again, speaking of incoherent, even if you look at this on a very a surface level, if you look at this in a very shallow sense, right? And you say, okay, I still accept that the political system might make some sense. I still accept that, and believe me, these are not my words, but let's just say I'm dumb enough to believe this. I believe that these people still represent me. Okay, let's go to that level of stupidity, and let me ask you how deep it goes. Take a look at what is being selected into his cabinet. Right?
There's an issue there. An issue. Real issue. I mean, wasn't he considering Rudy Giuliani at one point?
Well, Rudy Giuliani probably prosecuted some of his friends, so no good there. Although he could use his connection to the National Enquirer to claim that Ted Cruz. See, here's the thing. People go, he's going to tell the truth about stuff. Yeah, he's going to tell the truth about how Ted Cruz was tied to Lee Harvey Oswald, therefore tied to the JFK assassination. Where do you want me to start about what's wrong there?
I haven't heard him say anything about 9/11, so I'm not satisfied.
Oh, but there are people that will swear up and down to me that as soon as this guy is inaugurated, we're going to get the truth about 9/11. They have actually vested their truther ideas into him. Where do you think that came from?
To be honest, I think bullshit, but if he does come to office and do that, that would be great. I mean, we all can hope, right? But
see, but why are you hoping? Wait, hope and change. That sounds familiar. So you're hoping for change. It's in an orange package instead of a brown one. By the way, is that a bong or a pipe?
That is a nice pipe. But yeah, I mean, we already know the truth. The majority of American citizens know that 9/11 was an inside job. Everyone my age knows it. You can't talk to anyone under 25, without that, I mean, so yeah, you're right. What's the point? I mean, we already know. We can't rely on our rich people to tell us.
Right. Well, and gee, we can't rely on our rich people to tell us. You mean the billionaire that's in office, or the billionaire cabinet members that are coming in that are going to produce this new resonance in American society that's going to make America great again? Those people?
Yeah, right.
You see what I'm saying here? Like I said, even if you can go to the level of thinking that you might have a stake, that you might actually be able to get a seat at the poker table, my friends, you really think that the deck is not absolutely stacked, right? That kills me. That kills me. I listen to, and here's another fun fact when it comes to all media stuff lately. Have you noticed that even though they're pissed off at the, allegedly mainstream media cherry picking facts in order to spin things, they will take no time to investigate anything. They will grab any sort of spin they can to turn things back around away from the Trumpster, away from their new savior. Isn't it weird? I guess the day that, our friend at InfoWars over there decided to go on air and scream that the globalists were defeated and all of that, I guess that day everybody just went back to sleep.
Yeah. Hey, Maddie Clues in the chat room. Pot is legal in Maine, so. Anyway, yeah, I think the issue is people want to be saved. Like, they want to be a part of that, like, part of history. They want to be all, like, but they want to be a part of that awesome part of history where shit just went back to normal again, and, but it's bullshit. I mean, come on, man. Trump isn't going to do it, so, yeah.
The other thing is, hey, that cannabis and all of that, seeming alleged progress in getting stuff legalized and decriminalized in various states. You think he's on board with that?
I'm starting to think that Trump might have been a strategic move on the part of the capitalists.
Yeah, to give the illusion that you could get an outsider into the insiders club. And Shali, who is the normal host of this show, was on my show on Friday, trying to explain to people that, it's all about the bloodlines. It's all about the controllers who are not being named in public. But you have to get one of these middle management jobs by being part of the family already, by being accepted and vetted and all that. And you know what? Business as usual would have been, our Clinton / Bush crime partner friend that almost got in. That would have been business as usual. Now the delusion is ramped up to the point where this guy can contradict himself left and right. People hear one side of the contradiction, not the other, depending on who they are. And again, why shouldn't he make contradictory, ridiculous, farcical statements in public constantly? And because that seems to be the way of things now. What do you think?
I think we're doing the communication thing as we speak. I think we are talking a lot about what we already know is the issue, is Trump. But we're getting people thinking, right? But we really got to identify what we can really, do, and we can't be one of those defeatist type people who are like, fuck all, can't do anything, they're too powerful, because that's not really true. They're not really that powerful. I mean, Washington is just like a really small group of people, like a few dozen, 100, or anyway, man, like, we gotta take action, and we gotta, what can we do?
What can we do? That is the big question. Now, I'm not looking at the great controllers or the grand control system. Screw it. Let's look at ourselves. Because, again, go ahead.
Oh, nothing. You're right. Change from the ground up. Look at ourselves.
Well, this is my contention constantly, and here we go. I get picked on for it. But I think if you begin to change yourself, you will begin to affect your immediate vicinity. And if you can encourage that, chain reactions are possible. It's just that simple. But how are you going to do that when nobody is coherently understanding what's being said to them, answering any of it, speaking back to it. I mean, really, it is now built in to people's psyches to not be able to adequately combat anything being said to them because they can't answer it. They can't ask a reasonable question. They can't have a coherent conversation. And, well, sure, we could look for what the cause was, but what is the solution? Right? What is the solution? How do you get people to begin to stop dealing with the echo chambers of their own minds? Okay, merely looking for that which sounds comfortable. Okay, to agree with their preconceived notions. How do we get them out of that and into, well, that crazy state where you begin to think for yourself and you begin to analyze things objectively? How do you get people to do that?
You have to trick them.
Wow.
I don't know, bro. It's sad. It's so true. But just walk around your city. Everyone in the audience right now. As an activist, I get around. I'm kind of a street kid in a way. But walk around and talk to people. Just say hi. That's it. That's all you have to do. You know, random pedestrians, just say hi to people, and you'll notice that they don't really say anything back. Do you notice that where you live anyway? I don't know. Is it like that? They don't say hi. They just kind of stare at you.
No, see, down south, they will appear to engage with you, and really, actually, more politely than they do up north, quite honestly. I mean, I lived in the high-tension tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania area for quite a long time. And that, look at somebody the wrong way, you're going to get stabbed, beat up, shot, run over. But, down here, you can appear to interact, and you will get more polite sounding things out of people. So the tension is not so obvious, but the disconnect is still present. It seems everywhere I go, everywhere I talk to people, even when we seem to have common ground, because I know you were talking about common ground earlier. Common ground is not even an effective means to cull together a reasonable conversation anymore.
I mean, I don't know, man. It's all about that spark. I guess kind of getting over society where people just aren't even so much as interested in talking to each other, because I guess they feel that they fill that niche online using mediums like Facebook and shit, but it's really not good enough. You've got to talk to people, face to face.
Yeah, okay. I get that, and obviously you should try and unplug from the surrogate reality as often as you can. Reconnect with your fellow human being, because we are psychosocial creatures. We are literally designed to interact with one another. I get that. That is more to our natural state, which is something we need to return to. However, even when attempting to do that, there is still a strange thing happening. And is it the culmination of all of this stuff together? Maybe. But what do we do about it? Again, okay. I'll take this down to something more relatable, so we're not speaking in generalities. All right? We saw a series of stories come out recently in the news, and people that like to discuss, comment on the news, report the news, picked it up. Now, obviously, the MSNBCs, CNNs, and whatever else, HLNs, I don't know, whatever the alphabet is right at the moment, all of those people are obviously going to have their spin, et cetera, et cetera. But in the indie media, let's just call it independent media, it didn't seem to go any better. I'll give you the quick for instance. The whole thing with the Russian hacking deal, right? Okay. So allegedly, the Russians hacked into the DNC and blah, blah, blah. Okay, we know all this, right, Fox? All right, well, maybe your Skype is cracking out, bro.
Experimenting with some audio settings here. Yeah, absolutely. I hear you.
Okay, so look, we know about the Russian hacking thing. Okay, fine. Was it the Russians? Was it, as the Trumpster tried to tell us, some 400-pound guy on a bed? Was it this? Was it that? Okay. Regardless of all that, there was no sort of vetting of the information. There were public statements that were released, which people cherry-picked information out of and read them different ways. And do you actually trust the intelligence community? Does Trump trust the intelligence community? All this discussion. And then we're treated to BuzzFeed dropping a report, okay, regarding this situation, which also gave us the golden showers meme, which I did appreciate. That was my laugh for the month, okay, as far as I'm concerned. You caught all that, right?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay, no, I'm doing the setup here. But when that came out, I then checked on some people that you and I both know to see what they were saying about this. Okay. Some lesser known people, some better known people, some individuals who have, 100 times the audience I have, some people that have, 10 of their friends listening. Okay. And I went across the board, and what do you think I heard? What do you think I heard from those independent people?
Yeah, they're not independent. I mean, if you look at their ratings, they're getting far more ratings. Like, if we need to put this into perspective, CNN isn't the mainstream media. It's pretty much the alternative. It's the bullshit alternative, but it's the alternative. People like Alex Jones, networks like Russia Today, Al Jazeera, BBC are getting far more ratings than CNN. Guys like us are getting more ratings than CNN.
Well, sometimes, but look, Russia Today is a construct which is, funded by the Russian government. It's quite obviously the same type of crap that we get through our multiple corporate medias over here, except with the Russian spin on it. Okay, end of story. Al Jazeera and Al Jazeera's other affiliates and franchises all over the place. We know where their political leanings are. We know what it is we're getting with these spin organizations. That's fine. But I'm talking about when we get into the BS alternative media. Look, Jonestown is not all media.
Yeah, it isn't. InfoWars is mainstream media. It is more mainstream than the previous mainstream and so much more corruptible.
Well, right. Okay. So let's put all of that aside. Now let's look at the indies who are really, some of them out there broadcasting on, blog talk platforms, some of them out there on networks just like this.
Blog talk.
What's that?
I was saying good old blog talk. I remember when I was doing that.
Yeah, well, look, blog talk, Spreaker, whatever, man. It doesn't matter. It's hysterical, though. So we listen to these guys. And what are they saying? Well, they're saying that this is a 4chan creation. It's a hoax. The fact that, Trump shut down a CNN reporter is great. Those guys need to be shut down. And you know what? They are fake news. And so is all this stuff is fake news, just like obviously parroting what came out of Trump's Twitter feed, right?
Yeah, and Trump, Alex Jones is pretty much coming out, blatantly saying, vote for Trump. He's going to say.
No, he did that. And I get it. And that's no, look, that's exactly right. We know that. That's fine. That's codifiable. I'm putting all that aside. Put it aside, man. I'm talking about independents, people that I would think are in the same boat as me. Okay. The people that I know are not corporate sponsored directly, the people that I know are supposed to be out there, challenging the conventional wisdom one way or another. And what were they doing?
Well, it really depends. I mean, Chuck Ochelli and Anonymous Radio and, whatever else, we weren't saying vote for Trump, and a lot of people who weren't. But then there were a lot of people who were, even people like us who are just completely, supposedly free-thinking.
Somehow they were sold on this concept that it was a 4chan hoax, right? Did you go to that 4chan board? Because I did.
You know what? Now I'm completely thrown off because I don't even know. I'm not sure of the reference. What do you mean?
Okay, well, allegedly, when this stuff came out and BuzzFeed dropped the document, it was supposed to be a fabrication which had its genesis on a 4chan board, right? One of those things where people chat back and forth. You know what we're talking about with 4chan?
Yeah, 4chan, 8chan. What? I guess I'm kind of thrown off a bit. What drop are you talking about? A lot of fake news coming out about. I don't know where you're coming from.
See, okay, let me go back then. When the leak of the declassified report about Russia's hacking.
Hey, sorry. Yeah, Russia's hacking. Yeah, and yeah, but okay. So you have some intelligence agency. Sorry, I'm doing like 10 things at once. Okay, so you have like some intelligence agencies that are coming out and being like, okay, it's bullshit. Others are saying it's legit. Trump says it's good. You know, some people. Hillary says it's bad. It's like why isn't there a consensus? Why is there such a communication breakdown about whether or not, you know, our elections are being hacked by Russia?
Well, is it the election being hacked, or is it the influence of media devices to drive sentiment, which I can believe a lot faster? But even so, all this stuff came out, and then there was this attachment about the golden showers and Trump allegedly paying a hooker to urinate on a bed. Okay, all that stuff came together as part of this release, which was supposed to have originated with a British intelligence agent, a former British intelligence agent. Okay. All of that stuff was supposed to have originated that way and then been dropped on BuzzFeed. Now, I'm talking about the reaction afterwards. And yes, I'm aware that Dustin is hard to hear, or excuse me, Fox is hard to hear.
Hey, I'm wearing a headset. How much more clear could I get?
No, you were very hard to hear before when I was waiting for you to speak. So good. Now you're fine.
Yeah, I amplified the volume a bit. So one could argue, I guess, this is where you're coming from, right? That the supposed alternative media actually has more influence, you know, than oh shit. But we're talking about the influence that the alternative media has on the way we think.
No, I'm failing to communicate to you. This is obviously. See, here's the thing. I keep thinking to myself, this is my failure.
It's not even me. I'm not really sure what the point you're trying to communicate is, to be honest. I mean, we're having a great conversation, but I'm not really sure where you're trying to.
See, here we go. Here we go. This is where I started out the premise of the show today, folks. I thought I was explaining something in a coherent fashion. Have I gone insane? Somebody help me. Because listen, Fox. Let me try to reel this back. Go ahead.
Well, the conversation we're having is about a lack of communication. You know, which in itself is now proving to be a self-defeating topic, because we too our communications breaking down. And it might just be because our show's not really scripted, and I'm not really scripted, and I'm doing like, I should probably stop doing two things at once. But you know, that is the issue, and no one can. And the alternative media is definitely, or supposed alternative media is definitely contributing to that problem. You know, putting out especially all the fake news that comes out of like InfoWars and shit. Nobody knows what's real, what's true anymore, and I think some people just don't even care because there's really no way of telling.
Well, look, it is odd, and I get it, but here's the strange thing. I'm trying to get to the inaccuracy. Okay, I'm trying to get to the inaccuracies that are being discussed, and I think that what we've done is exemplify the problem here. Either I'm not communicating correctly, or you're not hearing me. That's what's happening. And here's the deal. Let's take it back one more time. So I'm talking about the actually independent media's reaction to the whole narrative. that came out regarding the Russian hacking, in quotes, regarding the golden showers, in quotes, regarding the intelligence leaks and the continuous volleys back and forth of accusations regarding fake news in general. Okay. Now, that to me was a strange reaction. That's where I was getting to. Not about the alternative media's influence, because it seems to me as though no one is influenced if no one is hearing anything clearly, and no one is being influenced, well, in a sensible way if we're not actually communicating with each other. It's like we're having separate conversations constantly. Go ahead.
Well, here's where my breakdown would begin, and if the issue's never addressed, then communication will inevitably break down, so I have to address it immediately. What do you mean by reaction? Like reaction in the sense that the alternative media is like, go Trump, or reaction in like what do you mean?
Well, the overall go Trump thing with the alternative media, one. Two, okay, this is a two-part inquiry. Two, the reaction to that particular narrative and how, well, it's all fake news. It was a 4chan thing. None of this is real anyway. Everything seems to be fake now. Yeah.
Like how people justify it too. Like, Trump's not a bad guy. All that stuff they're reporting about him is just fake news, right? Total justification, right?
Yeah, that's part of the point. Is why is that happening? And why is it that no one is clearly even vetting their information? I mean, look, the MSM, we blame them for not doing it. We don't do it either because they go, oh, no, it's a 4chan hoax. They already put out a link to the board. So you go to the link on the board, and it doesn't corroborate their story. Okay, you go to the document is unverified. You could report it as an unverified but possible document. Meanwhile, a lot of what was released has been, confirmed by individuals publicly that part of it is the real deal. And meanwhile, the whole 4chan thing, even when you go deeper, they had stuff on there that was not produced in the BuzzFeed document. And you're sitting there watching this pointless waste of time over it. And you're saying to yourself, well, meanwhile, what are they going to do? They're going to rob us all blind and continue on with the with the strategy of destruction. I mean,
because of the internet, we're moving from a society that gets information from verified sources like colleges and universities and governments and institutions to a society that self-regulates information, that self-verifies, and we have to learn to think objectively. But we're really transitioning into that because right now people kind of need that verified institution to validate their beliefs. They can't really do it on their own quite yet. And
there you go. There you go. Whoa. Perfect. Validation for the pre-existing beliefs. This is what is happening across the board. It's not just the idiots that still think that Hillary should have won. She would have been a better fighter for social justice. It's not just the morons who think, hey, Trump's in office, my whole life is going to change. It's not that. What?
Nice accent. That's so accurate.
Oh, excuse me. You know what it is? Actually, I have a hard time not falling into that accident where I'm living.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry.
But that was quite accidental, actually. And people bitch, actually, that, you sound like you're from New York, which New York, New Jersey. Okay. But anyway, look, seriously, it's not just those idiots. Now it's the people that, I thought were on board with looking at something other, trying to be more honest, trying to be more direct, trying to be more accurate as best we could, even though we don't have the funds and we don't have the resources to do our best to verify things. And it's just become a complete crapshoot with, you have no idea what you're getting unless you go and investigate it for yourself, and nobody's doing that anymore.
Yeah, and, my sister is hard up into that bullshit news, and she'll actually it's a lot of bullshit, but anyway, I'll get links like some fake radio station like WKKL or whatever or I can't remember Superstation 98.5 or something like that. That was it. And it's just, he said, she said, maybe that happened, kind of speculation. And everyone's going on it, dude. Everyone's going on it. Like, that's a fact. It must be.
I love it. Speculation media. And for the listeners' sake, guess who has joined us now?
Good morning. Good morning, America.
Good evening.
Good morning, America.
Good morning, America. Is it morning in America again, Shali?
Good morning. Good morning in Nightmerica. Isn't that
Now
what it is?
Now it's going to get interesting. Go ahead.
It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare, I tell you. Hey, listen, I've got one thing to say to start this off, but not to derail. Who hasn't been pissed on by a hooker?
Oh.
Just kidding.
Not yet, but I will put that on my list of things to do when completely shit-faced.
That's something to add to my bucket list. I've got to say honestly, Shali, I mean, I will admit to many things on air, but I have not participated in water sports with a paid woman. I will give you that much.
Had some blackouts, so it could have happened.
Good morning.
I'm good.
Good morning, Chuck, and good morning to Fox, one of our brothers. What are you in your 20s?
Sorry, Mike. I have to.
Are you a 20-something?
Yeah. I'm 20. I'm 23. I'm 23.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool. It's always good to hear. It's always good to hear younger people being aware of the things that are going on.
I'll tell you this much. If you talk to anyone my age, they'll tell you the same thing. But depending on where you're at, most of them just feel disenfranchised. Like there's no point. I'm one of the few people my age that actually go out and do shit. So hey.
Very nice. Very nice. So I had to agree. I definitely agree with Chuck, and it's become a topic, and he brought it up the other night, and he's talking about it today, and it's definitely an important thing that we, even though we are we start these podcasts and we try to talk to people where I see it a lot. I see people, you're having a conversation with them and they're really not listening to what you're saying as much as they are, they're just chomping at the bit to say whatever is in their mind at the time, which means they're not really absorbing what you're saying. And I think it goes on in pretty much every aspect of our lives. And of course, podcasting and doing research and things, it becomes glaringly obvious that we're not really communicating. We're really just kind of talking at each other. So I think that if we could figure out a way to recognize this, like Chuck is recognizing the communication breakdown, and figuring out ways to. First, you have to recognize it, just like anything else. Just like if you're an alcoholic, if you're hooked on heroin or something, you have to say, "Hey, I've got an issue here, and it's a big issue." Well, and we have to really understand that. We have to understand what we're doing and recognize it before we can take the proper protocols, not the Zion protocols, but protocols to try to understand what's happening during our conversations.
Exactly. And look, it's just a matter of consideration. I hope that's all it is, because I'm not objecting to, is it the fluoride? Is it the fact that we've been dumbed down in the schools? Is it the food? Is it the air? It could be a million things. That's fine. But what I'm talking about is I don't think we need to allow this to continue. I think that if we stop and recognize it, like you said, we can find a way to reverse this process. And if we don't, it's going to become even more coherent. We're literally going to be living in a theater of the absurd, Shali. What do you think?
And the thing that what they've done here is they've taken this, they've taken large portions of society, the societal engineering, and what they're doing now with the whole Trump thing is they're weaponizing these mutant minds that they've created. I mean, like what Fox just said about the disenfranchised. It doesn't take much to become disenfranchised when if you go to college and you can't get a job and there's so many things. Who's blaming Obama? How come we got 8 years of Obama and a lot of these people, a lot of these graduates, I mean, are they blaming Obama? Yes,
Republicans.
You know, I mean, am I correct there? I mean, you're 23, you're I don't know what your educational background is. I mean, I just went to school and learned how to work with computers.
I'm like Brother Ali, man. Self-taught.
Right, exactly. I taught myself how to play
a slave. Like, I can tell you, my mother is 44 years old, and she's still paying off her college debts, and she's doing that by building a tiny house out of a storage container in remote, extreme northern Arctic Circle, Alaska, where she's getting paid $7,000 a month to be a parole officer, and that's pretty much the only place in the country. You can make that much money doing that job. She has gone to the absolute ends of the earth doing the most extreme job in the most extreme region in the most extreme way to pay off her debts, and she's still thousands and thousands of dollars in debt. And there's no fucking way I'm going to do that to myself.
What did she go to school for?
She just went for her, 4-year in business psychology, typical thing. And she took a little bit of graduate school, but that's what you should be able to do. You should be able to go to college without being a slave until you die.
That's true, and they've taken in what we're seeing now, and I explained the other night is we've got this. They're weaponizing society. They've weaponized. I mean, look at when Bush got in there, and it wasn't so destructive because he was going up against Al Gore, he was going up against his cousin John Kerry, and we got so many. There were people out there that didn't like George Bush. You could tune into any Bill Maher program and see that Hollywood didn't like George Bush, and it's pretty hard to believe that Hollywood could hate someone more than George Bush, but now they pretty much hate Donald Trump. And again, I mean, I'm on the same. I'm in the same wait and see, non-believing state of mind when it comes to Donald Trump, because it really is. It really is when you consider the power, and I think Fox just said within the last 15 minutes that you said that you didn't think that the system was that powerful. There's only so many of them. But the bottom line here is that I think that this America, the creation of America, the design of the entire world has been years, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years in the making. The deception about so many different things, and how, like David Icke says, how the few control the many in so many different ways.
But here's the trap, Shali.
Yeah.
They give us choices. They say, look, there's either the lie or there's the truth, right? And we think that there's only two directions. We think that that's all there is to it. Sometimes there is a convoluted mixture of both that come together and create these weaponized psychologies, which are then grafted onto people that are poorly educated, people that are obviously dumbed down chemically, people that are drugged from, big pharma because they're depressed and because, they don't feel well every single day. So here's your happy pills to screw with your brain chemistry, et cetera, right? So what we've done is gotten away from the idea that, you know what, you need to discern all of this stuff at all times, because someone is presenting you the truth allegedly with that banner on it doesn't mean that it is. Because somebody says they're on your side doesn't mean that they are. It doesn't mean that they're completely against you. They could be playing both sides at the same time, because that's really the favorite strategy of those who control things. Give you both sides of the equation, so no matter which way you go, they're winning, right?
Yeah. And as I said the other night, you've got as I see a chemtrail sprayed across the sky, one of many. With Alex Jones, I really truly believe that there is a war at the center of this. That there are people that understand that we're being dragged into hell. We're already in hell, but we're being dragged into another layer of hell. And they don't want that. And maybe Trump doesn't want that. So well, there is a possibility that there is a war going on right now between these elites for what, that they could be sitting there like, well, we're just gonna do awful things. We're gonna bring things down like really totally abruptly. And then there's other people that understand that the people that are doing some of these things they've got they're not even thinking in terms of what it's going to do and how bad it's going to be. But it will be, I think, if things happen the way that they say, economic collapse, you've got these weaponized mongrels out there that are just waiting to burn shit down. They don't want that either. So there could possibly be a fight that's going on at some of the higher levels now. So because, no matter what we do, we really can't on some level, we can't really communicate and listen to one another and understand what people are saying. But I think like you said, Chuck, and what I added to, we have to make a concerted effort to really, really listen to what other people are saying. Mm-hmm. And then, come back with something that's that's coherent and just heartfelt, whatever's left of our minds, whatever's left of our brains.
And here's the thing, regardless of what Trump wants, it doesn't mean that he's going to be able to do anything about the momentum in the system, even if he knew how. Because exactly. I am not convinced that this guy has any clue what he's actually stepped into, except that he believes that through his corporate power, he can change anything. They get these God complexes when they get up to certain points here. It's no big deal that another rich guy is in the White House. It's no big deal. This is the sit down and shut up to the disenchanted white people in this country, just like Obama's election was put up for the sit down and shut up to black people in this country.
God, right?
That's exactly what happened. This is now you have a stake in it, idiots. And you know what? You don't. You never did, and you need to get that through your heads. That's where I'm at with it, and I don't give a damn which side of these people are supposed to be playing for. I don't care if they're wearing a red tie or a blue tie. It's all part of a greater mechanism that has nothing to do with living as a human being, with actually doing things that will be beneficial for our children and for ourselves going forward. It's all a grand masterpiece to keep us busy while they rob us, poison us, and destroy us at every single turn. And they have absolutely weaponized the damaged among us.
Spot on, brother. Spot on.
So, sorry, Shali. I felt the need to say that, man.
No, that's true. I mean, yeah, you have you're at the point in your personal development where things are becoming, very clear, but lots of clarity. Clint, hit that a long time ago. I pretty much just kind of tune in, turn on the UCY on Sunday morning. I half really talk, not even half sometimes, study some of the information that I'm talking about. I have a basic to mid-range understanding of what's going on in the system. But I'll read a story and then I'll say, chances are this is what they're trying to do, or this is what they're trying to do, but it's got nothing to do with what they're saying that it has to do with. So I am kind of guilty of just really kind of not vetting information. I've gotten to the point where I'll just kind of tune in and maybe just like get just guitar solo for like an hour.
No, but that's great. I love when you do that. No. Don't. I'm not going to let you.
No, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop. And even you and I, we've talked about trying to do comedy stuff. I mean, like last week, I did a soundboard interview with Barack Obama, and I said, Barack, I said Barry, your real name's Barry Dunham. I said, genealogical studies have proven that to a great extent that you are related to George Washington and like four other, like Madison and some of these other presidents, the founders of the country, the Masonic founders of the country. I said, is that true? What do you have to say about that? And he said, yes, we can.
Beautiful. Which is,
so look, I try to make fun. I mean, we're going to do more. And Chuck and I are we're gonna put our collective minds together, and we're gonna make some funny stuff. We're gonna sing friggin' goofy songs. We're gonna get Frankie in there going gaga goo goo and and all these other sounds, and it's gonna be fun, because what else do we have but to try to make fun, make comedy out of a situation that largely we have no control over.
Sorry, I just.
No, go ahead, bud.
I just found the mute button on my microphone. I'm feeling very liberated right now. Anyway, sorry, that was
You're
great.
pretty high, man. You're pretty high.
Holy shit! You have no idea.
Yeah, you just said what I was thinking. It's okay though. You know what, Fox?
Dude,
enjoy that, man.
No, Fox, he's a good guy, man.
Sorry,
I don't even know him, but he's a good guy.
I just got a new headset, and I'm still figuring shit out. But yeah, I have 2 new microphones now. It's why I sound a lot better than I used to. I mean, I'm really taking the whole podcasting thing seriously. So.
What did you get, man? What are you using?
Yeah, check out my YouTube channel, guys. I mean, for real. I got a It's just a Plantronics headset my friend gave me. He's giving it to me for like $15. It's pretty sweet. And how do I sound right now? How do I sound?
Pretty good, man.
Fucking right on.
You sound wonderful. You sound wonderful.
You're absolutely fabulous. Forget about it. Don't worry about it.
Every word that comes out of your mouth is like violin to me.
It sounds like fucking sex, man. It's sex in my ear.
That's it. Look, it's all going to be beautiful. I know the best people, Fox. I'm going to take care of everything. Don't you worry about it.
We're going to make America great again. We're going to make America great again.
Meanwhile, the white supremacists are saying, we're going to make America white again. But what we need, and I agree, and I think it's about time that somebody, brought it to the table. And Chuck's just saying, "Hey, are you listening to me? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?" And
what we've got here is a failure to communicate.
A continuous failure.
I think that really says it. I mean, it goes back years. Just think about how far how much they've dumbed, society down. They tried to sell Ebonics to us about 10 years ago.
Oh my God! I bet you Fox. Wait a second, Shali. I bet you Fox doesn't know Ebonics. Fox, you ever hear of Ebonics before?
Now that I've conveniently located the mute and unmute my button.
Yes. Question again, Fox.
Yeah, man. I have no idea. I've not heard of that. Could you explain that?
Shali, would you like to explain Ebonics to Fox?
Ebonics was, and I suggest that I guess it's EBONICS. If you just go to Wikipedia or just Google it, it would probably give a more direct definition of it. But it was just like another way of talking, kind of like an early form of what's Bill Gates's plan. The what is the education transformation system?
Oh, look at Common Core. I mean,
Common
basically,
Core, right? It was
Yeah.
like, this is what we're gonna, we're gonna introduce this ebonics into our everyday life or something. It was some form of. It might even have been 15 years ago. Christ, the internet will probably put a timestamp on it, but it was just a way, and it was, I think it was geared towards black people in some way, but again, you look at the language that we speak today, we're getting closer and closer to the idiocracy. And, when you look at the writings of Jefferson, you look at the writings of the founding fathers, by now, considering the way that they spoke, even though they are the people and we're just commoners, we're nowhere near and so far away from that particular kind of a way of being able to describe and to be able to speak through words to people the way that they did. And of course, listening to Chuck in the opening statements of the show, where he said, I will go to stores, I will go amongst the commoners there and hear them talk about some of the most mundane shit. And it's really just I listen to, I do the same. I do the same thing, Chuck. And I sit there and I think, God, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Exactly. Like,
Right?
where you can't sort it out. It's like, that doesn't, if you put this on paper and read it, right, you'd say, what's missing, right? I mean, am I wrong?
Yeah, there's something very, very, there's this huge disconnect.
Right.
This huge disconnect
Not just huge.
between what's really important and what is not. And I think I said it the other night. It just kind of came to me when Walter was talking about it and Barry on Chuck's Friday night roundtable. It's a schism. The left and the right brain are at war with one another to the point where we really can't. We're not listening when other people are talking as much as we can't wait to say what's loaded into, our brain chips to put out.
Dude, what if it's just like what's in the drinking water? I mean, for Rizzle and my nizzle, like all the chemicals and shit, couldn't it just be messing with people's minds?
Well, I spoke to.
Wait. Did he just say for Rizzle, my nizzle?
Hell yeah, nigga.
And so, and we knew what he meant, which is even more horrifying.
Even more terrifying is that you and I didn't really bat an eyelash at it, but now I'm sitting here just, yeah, I did. Okay, anyway.
I mean, that's it. I mean, that's kind of like an ebonics now, a level of ebonics now, because it really did kind of, invade a lot of this popular culture. Unfortunately, it's popular, but that's only because we've allowed it to be. A lot of that is just part of who we are. It's part of our genetic vernacular now. Or, it's part of our genes now.
Yeah. Look, and never fear. And never fear.
Part of our genes.
Jazine's nice. Never fear, Shali. Flow Rider is going to play the inauguration, so it's cool, man.
Yo, y'all hear this shit? Kanye West is going to be president in 2020.
I did hear he's going to run. Did you see that, Shali?
I know that he met with Trump, and then after that, the weaponized zombies were like, you can have Kanye West. We don't want him anymore, see? we got what happened. He actually, and I don't know why anybody would want this. I don't even know what kind of music he puts out. I heard someone play a video clip of him live, and I think it was just like he was singing Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody, and he was so out of tune. See if you can type that in at some point, make a note. Kanye West, Bohemian Rhapsody. And so he's not apparently going to he's not going to perform at the inauguration, along with this other a black woman who said that she would, but she took so much structural damage that she decided, no, it's not worth my career. Now, we got to the point where people are afraid of their career if they get involved with Donald Trump.
What a shame. We went from a time when, a president was, like JFK, someone who could be relatively looked up to I'm not playing at that inauguration.
I would
damn, dude, that's bad. You don't want to... Look at all the cameras, dude. You can be on TV and shit. I don't know.
We went from don't stop thinking about tomorrow in the Clinton age to, oh my God, you can't think there is no tomorrow. So it's just, oh God, help us.
Please start burning down tomorrow.
I found that clip, by the way, Shali. I'm dropping it in the chat at UCY.
Yeah, he was out of tune, unless it's another version or something. He was really, really badly out of tune, and he has no skills whatsoever. And he really is just a, there you are. Hey, buddy. He really is just a part of the culture creation that allows the disenfranchised that they created years ago when the Democratic Party and a lot of these other deceptive institutions created the KKK to go out there, harm black people, do awful things to them, so that then they could come in and grandstand for them and then ultimately get their votes. So largely, Kanye West is there because if they didn't do these things, I mean, they've definitely given white actors, entertainers, and things the platform, and so in order to balance the deception, they've created opportunities for a lot of other so-called artists, which aren't really artists at all, right? So,
no, I get it.
Kanye West is garbage.
Well, look, but it's a symptom of the time, right? We live in the auto-tuned reality of, alleged music. Like I said, there's still some good stuff coming out here and there, but for the most part, it's not getting played anywhere. It's not getting the attention. It's not getting the trending, Twitter feed, whatever the hell. I don't even know how to use Twitter hardly. I'm on there, but I don't know how to hardly use it. It's not getting the play. In other words, there's still plenty of good hard rock stuff that's being made.
Yeah,
but...
I'd like to. Sorry to cut you off. Okay. There's a lot. There is a lot of good music coming out. The problem is, as Jack Blood put it on your show, I was listening to that show. It was great. They're not playing it, dude. It's not on the radio. You've got to find this shit on YouTube. It's all underground. There's plenty of great artists coming out that a lot of people my age are listening to too.
Right. Jack Blood, who's now investing his time mostly in music, not doing broadcasts, although I'm trying to convince him to return, doing Dead on Cue, and also Fear Porn is on break. That's the name of his two bands. And, he plays guitar in Dead on Cue. It's kind of interesting. I kind of like Fear Porn. Have you heard any of the Fear Porn stuff, Shali?
No, but I definitely would like to, you know, being as I kind of, you know, jam and do stuff on air, you know, I would definitely like to get together with some other musicians and really kind of try to throw some stuff together and, you know, you know, kind of mix it up with other musicians.
Well, the second I get another bass, man, we'll definitely start doing that because I'm ready to go. I mean, if I can borrow some drums and get my hands on a pawn shop bass, we'll do it. How's that sound?
Nice.
I play harmonica, so.
That's cool.
I can't play a guitar. I want to learn how to play a guitar, though.
No, I'm not a great guitarist either. I used to use it to write, but anyway, you know, we're running low on time, Shali. So believe it or not, with you and Fox in tow here, I just completed 2 live hours just about here on UCY. Who would have thought that would have happened again soon?
No,
that was a great show. Great show. That was.
I appreciate you you know, filling in on such short notice, and of course, you know, Fox for jumping in there and lending a hand to Chuck. Yeah, this morning it was just I wasn't sure what the situation was, whether I was going to be able to kind of go live. And usually it's like when I do go live, I have all my stuff together, my whole rig kind of set up so that I can, you know, kind of get the full, you know, Cold Reality presentation. But I wasn't going to be able to have that this morning in the first hour. And, but I was happy to be able to join in the second. And again, thanks, Chuck, for filling in.
Well, listen, never a problem. Of course, anything for my friends. I got to tell you, only you and Jack Blood get me to do radio in the morning, because I hate doing radio in the morning. But you know, and you can tell I'm like half asleep at the beginning. I'm going, yeah, okay. You know, I got the Frankie alarm clock, which we may hear from just before we get out of here. Wakes me up awfully early as it is. So usually, you know.
Kid?
Yeah, well, and the reason why I mention him so much on here is because
the future, you know, man.
Well, not only is he the future, but it was the people at UCY that heard him cry on the air, you know, when I first brought him home and all that stuff. So, you know, if you're a longtime listener of this network, you might remember that as well. And of course, we used to do a show on Saturday nights. We did the roundtable thing here. Me and Kim did. You know, a lot of history. And it's a lot of fun, man. I appreciate you actually asking me anyway, Shali. So thanks.
Oh, you're welcome, dude. You're welcome. I know you got a, you know, good mind, you got a good heart, and you're sincere, and you know, that's pretty. And there are many people out there exactly the same way. And I'm just glad that I got connected with you, and you asked me. You heard me, what was it, on UCY at one point, and then you invited me on to talk about, and so I really appreciate that. You even, as someone even listening to my program and then inviting me onto their program to talk about my program and whatever, that's kind of, that was very nice of you to do.
Well, look, man, we all got to work together. You know, if we're out here being honest and with our hearts in the right place, whether we agree with each other on every single subject or not, we need to work together because this is a hell of a overlapping matrix which is confronting us all, and they work together. We should too. So that's why I do that. And I know Fox agrees with that because he brings on shows from other networks, reposts them on websites, puts them through his different feeds and all that stuff.
I take people off the streets even. Like, I just anyone with a voice and the power to articulate and something to say with about 30 minutes to an hour to commit. I mean, yeah.
I have to say, with Fox opened up his video camera. He looks like Carl from The Walking Dead. he looks like Carl. Carl, don't shoot her. But
I'm more of a Z Nation kind of guy, like you know, 10K,
Sci-fi?
Doc, more of my characters. But you watch, yeah.
Now this is like Ebonics. This is a perfect example of Ebonics. Sci-fi used to be SCIFI for science fiction, but then they changed it to SYFY. Right? So now it's sci-fi, and it's totally just outside of what you would think that it should be, because I think sci-fi was good, SCIFI. Now they changed it to SYFY, and that is a form of Ebonics.
You're saying simply from the mere changing of the lettering in the words?
Changing of the lettering, exactly.
Well, it's merely lacking the P, which would take it into the psi realm, and psychic, like psychology, like all these other wonderful things that are extremely esoteric and not really founded in science at all. That's what it is. It's decoupling it from science, in my estimation. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. But what do we know as science? We have this pseudoscience. We have NASA. We have all these other lying institutions that, just totally lie about pretty much anything. That they lie about the very thing that will propel us as a society. If we were a just society, if we weren't lied to, they lie about those very core equations that would propel us into a better world, a world that we could grow food and it wouldn't be GMO and all this other stuff. So their pseudoscience is it's pretty whack, bro. It's pretty whack.
It's whack in true Ebonics fashion. And that, I guess, is probably one of your final words for today, because I guess in a few minutes here, I forget how the clock works at UCY, but
no, it's 11:55 right now, so probably about 2 more minutes or 3 more minutes.
See, on my show, which is over on American Freedom Radio, at 55 on my clock is when I'm closing out. It confuses the hell out of everybody because there's a delay in the broadcast. Over at UCY, it's a lot easier to just connect with the Skype thing. I love it.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, it's probably about a minute and a half at this point because there is that delay, probably like a 15-20 second delay.
Nice. Well, hey, look, it works a little quicker.
Just enough time for one of these.
There you go. And as Fox likes that, I say to everybody, smoke them if you got them, because
oh yeah, boy,
you better get your popcorn, because it's going to be an interesting year. The thing they call 2017. And hey, come here, little boy. Want to say hi?
Say hi, little dude.
Say hi, little man. No? Okay. He doesn't want to say hi, but he did make a noise for you guys. Okay.
Yet another disenfranchised.
Yet another one that we're going to try to make sure is not sold into slavery, whether it be surrogate or direct, and definitely not the psychological slavery that they offer us all. Right, little man? Oh, he just got out of the bath, so he's like...
He knows what's up. He knows what's up. He knows what's up.
But he knows. Don't worry.
He knows.
Anyway, Shali, how do you want to close out the program?
No, it's you, man. It's all you. It's still you.
Okay. Well, look, I want to thank everybody who tuned in. Of course, stay tuned to UCY.tv. Lots of interesting stuff on here. A lot of people I've had on as guests are played on this station. Even after I left this station, I brought on people like Libby Haleve, Ron Stevens has been on, Shali has been on. Just the other night, Shali was on. I've offered a spot to Jules a lot of times, but she never has time for me. Who else has been on? I offered Souvenir to come on my show. I'd love to get Walter on. That's for sure. Vince Easley, as always, I got to thank him because he's helped me network with a lot of people over the years and has participated in bringing a lot of people together on this network. So all of that having been said, I want to thank you guys for listening to Cold Reality Radio, which is definitely a weird one today. No guitar, a raspy voiced guy who people in Australia keep saying sound like AJ, which pisses me off.
Somebody said that to me the other night. Yeah, they were like,
yeah, right. You don't sound like Alex Jones, dude.
It really pisses me off. But
no way.
But they keep saying
The globalists.
The globalists have been defeated. Trump is marching.
They're coming. They're coming for your guns and your sons and daughters and shit.
Now take your toxic tangerine. Get your Trump water
The
filter.
vaccines.
Get your golden showers on.
Get your golden showers on while you take your male enhancement craftsman, whatever the crap garbage is. You know, by the way, buy my garbage. Anyway, all that. My website is Ochelli.com, by the way, not the AJ Barrage stuff. That's what I do. And I actually produce extra podcasts too. And some of them are replayed here on UCY.tv. So I hope everybody enjoys their Sunday and tries to keep their head out of the chemtrail clouds. Because if you look around at the world, you might find that there's something going on. And if you can coherently discuss it, be able to change it.
Try to stop them. Don't put that on your wish list. That's retarded babble. Protesters make the hit list soon as they start to rabble. They are nothing but fishes in the barrel. It doesn't have to be Christmas for a carol. Some decorate with ornamental decorum. Some perform shotgun on Hanukkah and Purim. That's where my job come in. I am a blessing to the mercenary. For the corporation selling weapons to them. Any potential competitor step into them. I'm authorized to knock them out and stick a GPS into them. They want to sell uranium to Iran. That's enriched. That's a bitch.